So it's my pleasure to introduce Laura Bonnell, co-founder of the Bonnell Foundation.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I'm so glad to see everyone. And like 2 years old is not young enough. I mean, it's not too young is what I'm saying, because when my girls were looking for college scholarships, we definitely didn't know where to go at the time. Even though we had these scholarships going with my foundation, obviously they can't apply for them. They don't qualify. But so I want to tell you that I started this foundation, as Jennifer said, 11 years ago. And kind of how I got there was after Molly and Emily were diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, I kind of just wanted to back up and tell you the story. So I'm a reporter at WWJ, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be, a foreign correspondent someday. And I've always wanted to be a reporter since I was 12. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be fantastic, and it was my dream. And then your children are diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, and so everything kind of changes, as you know. So after years in the business, I took a job at the United Way in Ann Arbor, and I was putting together a newspaper insert that was talking about all the agencies that the United Way helped, and one of them was Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And so I'm in the lab, just happened to be Dr. Francis Collins, his lab. He was the direct, well, he still is the director of the NIH, but he just stepped down. So at the time, this was just before he discovered the gene that causes CF and, the whole genome project. So I'm in there working with Jeff, who has CF, and we're taking pictures and talking to them. And then the big discovery came, and the announcement came in 1989. And so I was there for the news conference, and it was really exciting. I was dating my then or now husband, but had no idea that we were going to have this road of CF, even though my husband has 7 siblings and I have 2, and it just, we weren't aware at that time. So little did I know how this was going to come up in my life. So I get back in radio, I'm back at WWJ, and I thought, gosh, this is my dream job, but I still didn't feel like this was my purpose. So when Molly was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, I was like, oh, this is it. The radio and the TV stuff gave me the voice to be able to raise awareness about CF and to move forward. And it all made sense. And then I knew I wanted to start my foundation at that time, but when the kids are little, you're just like trying to survive. And plus they had CF, so you're really trying to figure out what's going on. As a matter of fact, I spoke at the tennis auction ball for the CF Foundation after Molly was diagnosed. She was 3 months old, and I got up to the podium, and it was the first time, she was only 3 months, and it was the first time I spoke in public about her being diagnosed. And so I was crying, had to get it together and then talk about it. But I thought, wow, there's so much to learn. So I kept thinking about starting the foundation so that I could do things that I knew at such a young time with Molly, that there were things that I wanted to do as far as having my own foundation. And a lot of it was offering financial assistance to people who needed it. So that was kind of the thought then. So let me show you a picture of my girls. This is my foundation. Okay. So this is Molly and Emily. Emily has the face paint on her. She graduated from MSU. So we were there for that. And Molly graduated from Parsons in New York, fashion design school, and got her master's in London, England, where she still is now. And Emily got a degree in marketing, and she's fluent in Spanish, and she lives near us here in Metro Detroit. And it was challenging, to say the least, getting through the pandemic when Molly was in England. She did get the AstraZeneca COVID shots there. And the boosters, I'm told, are on their way. Emily already got her booster shot here from the University of Michigan, which is their CF clinic. So, and if you have any questions as I'm talking, interruptions, I don't even think of them as interruptions. So shout it out. I'm fine with that. So again, when we started looking at colleges, I knew how important it was for financial assistance for college applications. And then you're trying to search and figure out, okay, who does all the college applications? And so I have a nice list of that too. In addition to us, it's AbbVie and the Boomer Esiason Foundation, and there's a bunch of others that I can also give you. But just, let's see here. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to tell you is, so our college scholarships are, we give about 25,000 out every year. And income doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you make. Anybody can apply that needs a college scholarship. And it's decided on, sometimes we give it to 10 people, sometimes we give it to 20, sometimes we give out 30,000. It just depends on each year. And we knew it was very needed during the pandemic as well. So, and then it's, we did essays one year on top of people could take pictures of their art. People express themselves differently, right? So they could do a video, they could do it through art. Some people aren't good at writing essays. And we also didn't want the grade point to be a huge factor, because one of my kids missed 52 days of school one year, you know, one was a 4-point student and one wasn't. So it just depends on how sick they are, as you know. So all of that isn't a factor. You can apply for the applications January through May, usually. Sometimes the date will go till June, but usually it's January through May. And then you're notified in July and usually get your grant in August. And it's made directly to the university. We usually cannot make exceptions because the IRS doesn't like us to pay people directly, as you probably know. But sometimes if a grant that we're giving will hurt that person's ability, you know, to get another grant because it shows that their income is higher, we will do it differently so that it doesn't hurt the fact that maybe they're getting 2 or 3 grants. So you can keep that in mind. But yeah, just applying online for that. And the way the system works is, unfortunately, you can't like take 5 days to do it. You have to do it all at once when you're sitting down. We do need a letter that says that your son or daughter has cystic fibrosis, and we do need contact information from their CF clinic as well. And we like to get information just from, you know, either the high school student or the undergrad, and the college scholarships are just for undergrads. We don't do a master's degree because we're just trying to get the kids through college. The other thing we do is sometimes we've had this during COVID. We had, well, for several reasons, they couldn't necessarily go to class, obviously, but sometimes if they're sick and they can't make, you know, going to class, or we've had somebody that had to drop out of school because they were hospitalized. We'll hold on to the grant for you for, I think it's up to 2 years. So we still have someone we're holding the grant money for. I believe she's gone back this fall and it was released to her, but so we know the disease, obviously, and we're flexible. So that is something nice. And then I also wanted to let you know, if you don't have somebody in college, we do also have financial assistance. So anything related to cystic fibrosis will give you $500 for. It's not for utilities, it's not for a mortgage, it's just, you know, medical bills, that kind of thing. and you apply online. It's kind of very similar requirements as well. And all of this is decided by a committee. So and it's based on budget. If you're ever denied, it's either mostly the budget for that month. Every now and then it's because we didn't get the proper information. We requested more information, didn't get it, or unbeknownst to that person, sometimes the bill was paid by someone else. When we call the insurance company to pay it, they're like, hey, sorry, this was already paid. You don't need to pay it. So that's happened as well. The other thing we do is the lung transplant grant. As you know, when people are getting a lung transplant grant, sometimes they have to live in two places, pay a mortgage in one state and live in an apartment somewhere else. So we cover that. We cover gas. We cover really anything that's related to lung transplant grants. And that's $3,000 for the transplant, covering that. And in very sad and very rare cases, we've only done this once, when the person died after the transplant, we gave the money toward their funeral. So we do have flexibility, and things like that do happen, but I just wanted to let you know about that. And then the other thing is, we're really trying to raise awareness. It's wonderful that there's newborn screening, because I think more people are getting diagnosed, but we're trying to raise awareness in the African American community and in Egypt, because I work with Dr. Samuel Nasser at the University of Michigan, that everyone can have cystic fibrosis. It isn't just Caucasian people. I know that all of us don't think that, but there are doctors that still don't realize that someone who is from the Middle East, or somebody who, is African American, may not have CF because of that reason. So in Egypt, people in Egypt, if they're diagnosed, they're dying by the time they're 8. Their life expectancy is under 12. And then, and I also know someone who is African American who was diagnosed 5 years ago, when he was 54. So it's just really good to spread the word to everyone about that. Cystic fibrosis doesn't care who you are. If you have the gene, the genetic mutations, you can have cystic fibrosis. So the other thing I wanted to tell you is, do I still have time, Jennifer? Yes, okay. The other thing is, we're working on the Rare Disease Advisory Council that I hope you all become part of and engaged in. This goes to a vote next week, December 14th at 10:30 in the morning. If you want to reach out to your legislators, I can give you more information, but this will give us a voice. Well, this is Michigan. I'm sorry, I know you're from other states too, but you need to check and see if your other states are working on the Rare Disease Advisory Council. There are, I think, 17 states that have passed it, which is fantastic. So that's really good news. And I've been only focusing on my foundation now for the past 2 years. But the radio station is still doing public service announcements about cystic fibrosis, so they continue to be great supporters. But that's pretty much everything that I wanted to let you know. And if you have any questions, please ask away.
That's right. Laura, this is Mary Beth Rock. I have a question.
Hi, sure.
Is this just for kids entering college, or can like a sophomore or junior apply to this as well?
Yes, high school, sophomore, junior, senior, as long as they're an undergrad. And before I forget, this is the great question, because it reminds me, they can be in trade school, they can be in community college, they can be in a university. So it's whatever, either one.
But I mean, like, my daughter is a junior in college. Can she apply now for her senior year in college, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
In January, she would have to apply. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then if kids or whatever, someone applies and they get a scholarship, can they apply again and get another one?
Mhm.
For the next,
You can get it twice.
You can,
Yeah,
okay.
you might get it your freshman year, but not your sophomore year, or you might get it your freshman and your sophomore year, then you're done.
Right.
But if you get it like your freshman year, you don't get it your sophomore, then you can get it your junior year, you know, it just,
Yeah.
or you might get it your junior and your senior year. Like we've had some kids who were like, that either sometimes they miss the deadline, or in some cases, you know, the essays, you're just, you know, they just really weren't paying attention to what we asked, or the length, or a number of things. So they just, you know, didn't rank very high. And because we have a nice sized committee, there are many different votes. So it all evens out as far as who gets those, you know, scholarships. So.
Right. I'm sorry, Laura, one more question.
Sure.
How many kids or whatever people apply, and then how many do you get? How many scholarships do you give out?
On average, we have 60. On average, we have 60 that apply. We had 70 this past year, and we awarded 20.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, this is Timothy.
Sure.
Could you tell a little bit more about the Rare Disease Advisory Council?
Sure. So we've written a bill, a bunch of us, Representative Clemente is the sponsor of the bill. We went before the Health Policy Committee several months ago, and you know, we were allowed in the Capitol as long as we were masked and vaccinated and all of that. And we answered questions from any legislator that was there and had a question, Republican or Democrat. And the Health Policy Committee is chaired by Representative Colley. And what the point we were trying to get across is that we want everyone to have a say, and we need a lot of voices, and this is for rare disease. So it wouldn't be just representing cystic fibrosis, it would be sickle cell, it would be mito, you know, it would be every disease that there is in Michigan. And 1 million people in the state of Michigan have a rare disease. So it's a large group, significant. So what this would mean is that, let's say, for example, copay accumulator, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's like a copay assistance. So this is actually a different bill that's going through, but this is a really good example on something that we would be working and talking about. You get a coupon, and you're going to use it for Trikafta or something, or any CF drug, and you give it to the pharmacist, and they're like, oh, great, that's $500 of a coupon that you don't have to pay. The insurance company gets it, but it does not come off your deductible. So let's say you have $1,000 deductible, you still owe $1,000. So the insurance company gets the 500, and then they are going to make double because you still have your copay. So we're saying that is unfair, and you know, it needs to be banned in Michigan. And so it's things like that. It's things when lawmakers are trying to make a decision, even if it's on ICER, which is the Institute for Clinical and Economic Review. They're trying to deal with the quality adjusted life years, how they tell insurance companies whether it's worth it or not to pay for a drug. And in the shortest way possible to describe it, I can give you more information to research this yourself. But basically what they're saying is, if you're in a wheelchair or if you have CF, your life isn't as valuable as somebody who's healthy. So they don't want to pay more. And insurance companies do like it. And I'm not anti-insurance company. I think we all need to work together. But so it is kind of things like that, raising awareness and things that will impact all of us, because we are in this together with 7,000 other rare diseases, and what will help one will help the other. So this will be just, if a lawmaker has a question like, hey, you know, how's CRISPR, how's that helping sickle cell? Or we're not giving any medical advice. We're just saying this is something that is good for the CF or the rare disease community. I'm sorry, the rare disease community or not. So if that helps.
Thank you. Yeah.
And well, I guess, does anyone else have a question? Laura, you said you had a list of some other scholarships that you might be able to share. So I don't know if after this you could send me that, or I don't know if it's available.
Sure.
Posting,
And should I stop my share?
Sure.
That was my scholarship page. I forgot to change to, and
no, that's fine.
That's my last slide. But yeah, and you can all email me too. It's the Bonnell Foundation @gmail.com if anybody wants to email me. And on our website, we do have resources, and it's AbbVie for their scholarships, Boomer Esiason Foundation. Oh my gosh, the others are escaping me. There's some smaller college scholarships as well. And for example, Michigan State University, they had a scholarship specifically for CF students, but unless you research it, you wouldn't know. My daughter just happened to stumble upon it and got $3,500. That's a good chunk, you know, for stumbling on it. So make sure you check and see if there's anything for a rare disease person or cystic fibrosis.
Thank you.
So
I think we'll take general questions at the end, but I think at this time, I think I'm gonna ask Kimberly to go next, and because so for like Timothy and I our kids are older, and so her kids are younger, and there are a lot of opportunities. I'm gonna have Ellen kind of summarize them after Kimberly, but her kids have been involved in a few things. I've wanted her to speak about that. So I'm gonna turn it over to Kimberly.
Hi.
And do you need to share your screen at all? Did you have anything?
I do have a presentation.
Yep, let me make you a co-host, and then you can do that. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
All right. So this up. I'm Kimberly Houston. I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner by profession. And my most important role, of course, is my role as a mom to 2 girls with CF. And like I said, they're 10 and 6. So we have been involved in a number of different programs, and very fortunate to get to talk about some of those tonight. I'm going to start with the one that has been the most impactful for our family, and it's called Team Impact. This is an organization that matches children facing serious chronic illnesses with a college athletic program. And I learned about this, I think Vertex was, they sponsored it, and I learned through posts they made about Team Impact. And I've been very impressed with their level of professionalism and just, you know, their expertise, their connection, you know, to the team, and their follow through. It's just been a really well organized program, provided a lot of support. It's a 2-year program. So Kelsey was matched with the UNC volleyball team 2 years ago. And so essentially when you apply, they do a phone interview, they get to know your family, get to know your child, and figure out kind of some of their interests. And and really work in kind of the universities that are in proximity to you and kind of what you're interested in. And so for us, UNC volleyball team was one that we were interested in, and they were able to make that match. And so they train the team and the staff, and they provide. I mean, I was just really impressed with the opening day. They do a very official signing day, and it's just gets a lot of publicity around it. They made it just like a big party. It was a lot of fun. And so the program, the goal is to just really develop those relationships both on and off the court between the team and the kid, the child with CF. And through that power of the team, the kids and the student athletes accept, motivate, and inspire one another. And I love their mission statement, as you can see, to provide a community where there was isolation, hope where there was despair, and boldness where there was insecurity. Together we champion. And I've really kind of seen some of that just through our experience with the program. Unfortunately, COVID really had through a hindrance in her second year. So she's continuing through this season, and so we're still connected with them. And I'm just going to show you a video. It's about 2 minutes long, but it's just, I think it speaks 1,000 words to kind of show you kind of what it's all about. There's my daughter, Kelsey.
This is a special day. I have the honor of today. Kelsey Houston is our target.
Can anyone see the video? Because Kimberly, I can't see the video. Okay.
Let me tell you a little bit about Kelsey and what she's going to bring about her.
Here. Yeah.
Kelsey can help us in 2019 start by getting us to the next level. Bring the spirit, outstanding, and that being all right, teacher, now 10. And this is a target letter 10 that we have here.
I don't think she knows. Kimberly, I don't think we're seeing your video. We're not, I'm not seeing the video.
Uh-oh, I'm not sure what I'm doing.
Well, I think if you hit on share screen, like hit on the green button, the up button, and then it should pop up with an option to say like optimize video sharing or something like that.
Oh,
I can't see it now exactly because otherwise I boot you out of the screen share.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So if you press that, then you could probably replay the video and I think we would see it. But we didn't, all we kept seeing, like we just kept seeing your screen that showed Team Impact.
Oh.
We could hear part of it, but it was not up, it wasn't
So I
perfect.
click on what? I'm sorry.
I think it should say optimize video or sound quality with video. I forget what it says.
Oh, optimize for video clip.
Yes.
Okay. You see that?
Now it's blank, but maybe we'll see it now if it plays. It's blank for us.
Yeah, blank. Okay. You're not seeing any of that?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm really sorry. That was just.
That's okay. No, I'm sorry too, but I don't know.
All right. It says my screen there. Resume share.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. So I can't see everybody either. let's see. Well, anyway, yes, they made, I guess you could hear some of that. They made it a really special day for her. And can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Right. I don't know how to get. Okay. So anyway, this is a great program. If you have young kids, I strongly encourage you, if you have something you think your kid might be interested in, she gets to essentially be a part of the team, go to the games, the matches, and she stands on the court and gets to cheer them on. And they do other activities outside of matches as well. They did pumpkin painting and took her pottery painting and have meals. They get ice cream and go to the park together. And it's just really been a great way for her to bond with the team and get to know a new sport. From the health perspective, just encouraging her to kind of look, how fitness is a very important part of your health as a person with CF. So it's been a great option for us. She even did like her treatment in their treatment room, sugar vest, and that was really fun. And I think it also just creates empathy and helps to foster that in the athletes. And yeah, it's been great. Another program that we have been a part of is the Malleola Foundation. And this is an organization whose goal is to educate, spread awareness, and provide alternative therapies for genetic disorders such as cystic fibrosis. They provide free surf experience days for children with cystic fibrosis, just harnessing that benefit of the salty ocean mist for people, for the lungs of people with cystic fibrosis. And they have professional surfers and local surf instructors who provide those surf lessons for free. And pre-COVID, they were doing a tour around the US, including stops at Wrightsville Beach and Virginia Beach. Those were the closest to our region, but they go around, California, the Northeast, down the East Coast of Florida, Hawaii. And I know that I think they plan to resume their tour, but they have put all that on hold with COVID. So, but we did 2 or 3 years, I think, of that. And so that's been really fun. I don't know if this video will play, but can you see that?
What is possible to get that?
Can you hear me? Lost my people here. Can't hear anyone. Is anyone there still?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
Yes, we can hear you and we can see the video.
You can see me. Okay. I don't see you guys, but I'm gonna keep going. All right, I'm gonna skip ahead to the part where they talk about surfing.
Usually that means a lot of medicine and lots of different types of therapies. Sometimes it even means going to the hospital. About 30,000 kids and adults in the US have CF. Why surfing? When the waves crash at the beach, a salty mist is created. For someone with CF, breathing in that salty air lubricates lungs and airways naturally. It also loosens up sticky mucus that is stuck in the lungs. This makes surfing a natural treatment for anyone with CF, which is way more fun than medicine and therapy and hospital visits. The Malleola Foundation takes kids with cystic fibrosis surfing. Since 2007, they've helped thousands of kids catch waves. And with your help, thousands more.
Okay, you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay, so here are a few photos of Kelsey's experience with the Malleola Foundation, and it has by far been one of our top things we've participated in since she's been here, and she's really enjoyed learning to surf, and we've continued even the past summer to kind of get surf lessons for her, even apart from the Malleola Foundation, but that really kind of fostered her love for it. And essentially like a 3-hour lesson at the beach. So that was great. And they had other kids with CF there too, which was kind of neat because, you know, of course we can't really connect with other CF families very often in person. And at least there she could see other kids like her who had CF, and because it was a safe environment at the beach, they could, you know, greet each other from afar and watch each other surf. And that was a really great way for them to connect. So, you know, you can go onto their website and follow them as well, just to see if those options exist in the future. Another one that we participated in is Victory Junction Camp, and this is located in Randleman, North Carolina, and it's a free camp that they're open to children with a variety of serious illnesses. They provide life-changing camp experiences that are exciting, fun, and empowering at no cost to children or their families. It's pretty incredible. They have a world-class facility, and it's all free. They have great activities available. They do a free summer camp, which our first time participating. Kelsey has not participated in the overnight camp, but our first experience was this past summer, and they didn't have the overnight camp with COVID, but we did do a family day camp, and just she and I went, and it was really fun. Yeah, we got to just pretty much experience everything of the different activities there. It was just a really fun free day for us to connect and bond, and they do family retreat opportunities. The eligibility is ages 6 to 16, and you just have to have an eligible diagnosis. They typically break these apart, like, you know, all the kids with diabetes 1 week, kids with cerebral palsy 1 week, kids with heart conditions 1 week. But of course, CF campers are not allowed to go all together, so they split them apart and put them at different weeks. And, you know, they assign them according to their, you know, to other campers with their developmental levels and cognitive abilities and things like that. So, and of course, if they're siblings, they can go together. But so we did that this summer, and there's just a few photos to highlight some of the kind of what it looks like. There's kayaking, there's a nice little pool, and we have bowling and archery and horseback riding. And that was the cabin. It's got a nice race theme, so it's in honor of Adam Petty. So anyway, that's a fun one, and you can go to their website and learn a ton more information. And yeah, something my kids hope to do every year. And then Make-A-Wish Foundation, we have, Kelsey has made her wish. Mackenzie's 6, so she has not yet, but it is, you know, children who are diagnosed with a critical illness, progressive, degenerative, or malignant condition that's placing their life in jeopardy are eligible. Children between the ages of 2.5 to 18, and they can't have received a wish from another grant wishing organization. So you can refer your own child, a medical professional can refer you, your family members can refer your children, and I guess children can refer themselves. So Kelsey's put in her wish. Her wish is Hawaii, and that got put on hold because of COVID as well. And we'll see when that happens. So don't have a lot of experience with it yet, but it is a great option for kids with CF. And this is a new program that again, I don't have a ton of information on it yet. We just have got started, but the Rock CF Foundation is called Kicks Back. And they say that it's changing the face of what living with CF looks like and giving those living with CF the tools to not only survive, but thrive. They donate a free pair of running shoes to people with CF. They cover registration fees for a race of your child's choice and provide coaching and tips to get started running. I know that my children do not love running, but I think that's an important skill for them to learn. And I hope that that's, you know, something that they would try to participate in. So I thought this was a great program. We've submitted our request. You can go to their website and learn more about that. So if you have any questions, I can put my email in the chat, and you're welcome to reach out to me.
Thank you. That was great. Does anyone have any questions for Kimberly?
Sorry for all the technical difficulties.
Oh, no, it was just the one video and everything was great. It was super. Does anyone have any questions or?
I don't have any questions, but I have to give a shout out because Emily Schaller, who runs Rock CF and does the kickbacks, we're 15 minutes from each other. So we do a lot together. She's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. And my college age girls, when they were in college, got shoes from her foundation. So yeah, it's great. She's great.
I love that. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I have to agree. Angelica did the same thing, Kimberly. Yeah, and Emily's awesome. And obviously with our last name being Rock, and we rock. Yeah. So I was like, Emily, I love the name of your foundation. Okay, Angelica participated in it as well. And I love Emily. She's so awesome. And for the surfing, the Malleola Foundation, we didn't do it, but Angelica did one with Tony Silvani in Carolina Beach. So she really enjoyed that. And my credit union sponsors the Victory Junction camp. And everyone in my credit union loves that camp. It was so great just to see your daughter there and seeing how much fun she had.
Yeah.
Really good information.
Great. And the Victory Junction camp too, so I didn't mention, some of you know, but we started a nonprofit called Take It Away in 2019. And we were just kind of getting going, and then COVID hit, and we did, one big event with a 5K and a bike race. Weber's helped us out, volunteer. We really appreciated that. And we actually, one of our supporters who came out to help us, he did, donated a lot of money, and he has been really instrumental in helping support us. He also hosted a golf tournament, and he split his funds between Victory Junction and Take It Away, our foundation. So he raised $70,000 total through his golf tournament, and he gave Take It Away $35,000, which we directly give to the CF Foundation, and then the other $35,000 went to the Victory Junction. So, and he just did another one back in August, and the same thing, raised about $30,000 for each. So we're excited to kind of be able to. We're local. We're from the same county that Victory Junction is in, and so that's kind of been a neat connection. And it was fun for me to actually see it, and for Kelsey to get to enjoy it. They're doing great work there.
Great, thank you. Now, Ellen, I know you have a list of resources that you're going to share, so I'll let you go next.
I do. I'm trying to think about how to follow both of these. This is fantastic. And Kimberly, I have to say, I learned about a new one from you. So I'm glad you shared all that you did. How much time do we have left, Jennifer?
Well, I think, I think it said 7 to 8:30 on the flyer. So it's almost 8 o'clock, but you can.
Okay. I think what I'll do is, I had a few slides and things, but I think that what I'll do is, if it's okay with folks, is actually not share the slides, but give you kind of a general overview of some of the things that that I have, and then I can also share my email address, and I'm happy to send out those lists of things that we generate. I'm just going to kind of touch on a few, but also for folks to know that I really am just scratching the surface. There's so many fantastic organizations that offer scholarships and grants and fun activities. And I just encourage people to reach out to your social worker at your center, because they likely have those lists. I know we keep those, and we try to keep them as updated as possible. So I'll talk a little bit about scholarships, and I'll talk about some fun grants and things that are available. And I'll also talk a little bit about some financial resources that we do have for folks, because I know that all of those things are pretty important for a lot of people. I think that so I have a list here of some scholarships, and I'm wondering if, Laura, if some of them are from your site as well. So I encourage people to actually check that out also, because there may be some really nice links there. We encourage people to apply to as many as possible that they are eligible for. There's lots of different eligibility criteria. Some offer a few $1,000s up to tens of thousands of dollars per scholarship. And then I'll sort of speak generally about some of the scholarships. AbbVie is one that was mentioned in addition to the Bonnell Foundation, which we always encourage people to use your programs. And so they all have kind of different criteria, and some have different rolling application dates and things like that. So it can feel like a little bit of a chore, but I always recommend to people to check out those dates, see when the applications are due, because it may be several months before the start of your college, or it may be closer. The other thing that Laura also mentioned that I think is really important for people, that a lot of these scholarships are available for online courses or for tech schools, trade schools, community colleges, not just the 4-year college experience. Some agencies and some scholarships are even available to family members. I think that's something that gets overlooked sometimes. I just had a really nice conversation with a family who the parents are considering, returning to school now that the children are a little bit older. And so I think that's a really important one to remember as well. We try to keep our list as updated as possible. So anybody that would like to take a look at that, the links are hyperlinks. So hopefully you can kind of check those out. One reason I like to send it electronically instead of just handing people a paper or putting it on a slide. Again, I'm happy to share that. Some of the fun kind of things that are available. Kimberly mentioned some really great ones, and the surfing one was new to me. I wrote that down, so I'm gonna add that to our list. The Kicks Back program is great. The shoes and getting outdoors, that's a really great one. A lot of people might not be aware that for $10, you can get a lifetime pass to all of the national parks. I have a link to, and again, I can share all of these on hyperlinks, a link to the application and links to information about that. But basically it's available to anybody who has a disease or an illness that it impacts a major life functioning. So CF would be breathing. And so you can get a lifetime membership or a lifetime pass, which is really cool. So the Cystic Fibrosis Lifestyle Foundation grants offer grants to encourage, those more recreational activities, gym memberships, swimming classes, a new bike for somebody who wanted to join a cycling club, didn't have a bike. Some really cool stuff like that. A neat organization is Icing Smiles. I don't know excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied. I don't know if anyone has heard of that one, but it's a great organization, not only for a person with an illness. So they don't just work with CF patients, they work with people with all kinds of medical conditions. But what they do that's really neat is will provide a cake, a birthday cake for your child or their sibling. And the cakes are kind of, you just go on their website and kind of fill out the application. They are able to do cakes. They prefer time to plan and be able to really create a nice, very elaborate cake for your child. But they also are able to do quick turnaround if that's needed for whatever reason. So that's a really fun thing to do, and you can do that multiple times throughout your child's life. And there's no income requirement for that, which is just kind of a fun thing, because birthdays are so special and so important. We're gonna celebrate as much as we can. I have my list here. I'm trying to think. There's a few that's already been mentioned. There are other foundations and other organizations that offer or support surfing, which is a big one. Even a week at surf camp I had reached out to one of the organizations hoping to hear back a little bit more about their application process. So as soon as I get that, I'll share that with everyone as well. I'll email Jennifer and we can get that out to everybody. So that's again, just kind of the tip of the iceberg on some of the fun benefits and things that can be really neat. And then we have, some financial resources, and we have the Bonnell Foundation on our list, as well as some local organizations to North Carolina or to even the Triangle area. I know that people are with us tonight outside of that area. So again, contact your social worker or a nurse that you work with. They may have a list of more local providers, but there's everything from assistance with bill pays, typically not the mortgage payment things as Laura was talking about, but assistance up to $500 with different medical costs, up to $1,000 for some agencies. If your child has been in the hospital, there's a lot of support for that. Again, kind of reaching out and letting us know that there's a lot out there. So we want to be able to share it. And then some other things that are possibly a little more central to UNC, since that is my area of comfort. There's, pharmacy assistance programs, and UNC has a financial assistance program if the medical cost is too much for your family, and that can often be the case. So we always encourage that. I think that many hospitals have financial assistance programs. And I always want to mention Compass. So don't forget about Compass. Compass is free, and it's available to family members, patients with CF, anyone that could benefit. They offer information about insurance and perfect. Yes, there it is. They offer lots of resources, and I've heard that there are certain topics that they're really well versed in, and I always encourage people to call just in case it may be something that they have a lot of information about. Any life changes that you have questions about, insurance is a big one. So I feel like I've shared kind of like a little bit here and there and everywhere. Hopefully it wasn't too much being thrown at you instead of going through the slides, because I think that a lot of great stuff was already mentioned, but I can certainly share the documents with those links, and you can click directly on them. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I can put my email in the chat if that's helpful for people. So
Great.
yeah, that's a lot. Sorry.
No, it's great. So I didn't know if there anyone else, well, if anyone has any questions or comments, or if there are other things, or even if anyone wants to share something that their child participated in, feel free to
Those are
jump in.
great. And I want that link to the cake and the lifetime park thing. And I just wanted to say too, while we're talking about like CFRI, which I'm going to put this link in right now, they offer assistance for mental health. Yes. And will, I think they give you 15 visits. They cover it, the cost. So they're another great resource. Yeah, I know you have that one.
I will add to that. That is a fantastic link. Thank you for sharing it. If you, that's one that I believe will support a family member as well. Don't quote me on that yet, but I'm pretty sure that they want to support mental health, that they want to do that the best they can. They do have limited resources, so always be checking back if their website says that they have used their resources for the year.
And the Vertex is the one who gives a sibling or a parent the college scholarships. They just started that this year. That's awesome.
Well, thank you everyone for sharing. Hopefully people learned tonight, and I know I learned some things too.
Yeah, there's some neat programs out there. Any
Yeah.
other parents have experience with different programs?
We had one through COVID, and it was not, we were really isolated, as I'm sure a lot of you guys were. But we kept doing swim lessons, and we applied for a grant through milesforcs.org, I think. I'll have to look up exactly what the dot part was, but they paid for swim lessons for my kids for a full year for both kids. So they gave us like $1,000 for each kid to have swim lessons for a year, which was amazing. So that's the only, other than the Malleola Foundation, that's the only other one we've ever used so far.
Okay, Ellen, just
Thank
put it in
you,
the
Ellen.
chat. Thank you. That's great. I know our daughters each got a grant through the CF Life grant, the Lifestyle Foundation. They received grants to help with pay for swimming too when they were younger. That were great. Thank you all for coming. Hopefully, yeah, if you have any questions, I guess this is your final chance for this, but you can always email. You can always send an email. My email is, I think everyone has it because I emailed most people the Zoom information for tonight, but
just want to share one thing there.
Oh, sure.
There is a cfyogi.org. They teach the free yoga for the CF kid, like how to breathe and everything actually.
Okay.
That's like, it's like online classes. You can take based on 7:30 Eastern or whatever the timings. They have some timings and everything. You can actually you can choose when you want the class, and based on your flexibility and based on what your level of yoga, or you want to focus more breathing or you want more stretching or anything. It's one of the cool thing actually. But I don't know how long it will run, but they started, at least we came to know that during the COVID time.
Great. Thank you.
Sounds beneficial.
Yeah, I've got my daughter interested in that one of them anyway. So thank you. Yeah, so really I appreciate everyone.
Thanks. It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.